this is the beginning of a quarantine routine that we are going to learn together. This is a slightly more advanced routine. I wouldn't say it's impossible for any of my people who are new to floor work or chair work to get, but because you're working at home and because we have kind of unlimited time for it, also that's my dog, we are going to put in some movements that you may not get the first time around because I want to challenge you to keep working on them at home. We are going to start with our beginning of the song, which is going to be about a minute of standing and, here's the other dog, about a minute of standing work and floor work. So you don't need anything for this section. We'll talk about chairs and what kind of chairs you want to be working with when we get to the next video. But for our floor work, I do encourage full coverage. We're going to be doing some sliding. We're going to be on our knees. You guys are just invading this entire video, huh? So I would recommend doing it in leggings. You're welcome to do it with leg warmers over the top of your leggings or high socks, fluffy socks, long sleeves. Whatever works for you so that you can either slide a little bit easier over a wooden or tile floor, or you are really well protected from rug burn if you are doing this on a carpet, because the last thing I want is for you to get hurt. So we're going to get started. The song that I'm choreographing to is Look Back by Betty Who. But you are welcome, if you don't like the song, to take what we're working on and set it to a different song. This is also a very booty-centric and leg-heavy routine because I wanted to pick a muscle group to focus on so that this is fun and also can count as some daily workout for you. So I'm going to go ahead and insert the whole section of choreography that we're learning today here. And we are going to break it down piece by piece. I'm going to walk you through the movements both with counts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, if that is how you learn best. I'm also going to talk through it with musical moments, so the la 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 la's and the words. I try and do a mix of both because those of you who have had experience learning choreography are going to prefer the counting, and those of you who haven't are going to prefer the words. So I'm going to do my best to make everybody happy and make this easy for everybody to learn. We are going to start with our standing section into our drop slide. Now the drop slide has a lot of variations, so we're going to go over a couple of different versions that you can utilize depending on your ability to comfortably reach the ground, as well as your space, if it's carpeted or floor, and your sensitivity for your various body parts, tops of the feet, knees, that sort of thing. With your space, as you've seen, we do lie flat out. So depending on how tall you are, just make sure you can lie down in your space, at least in one direction. You don't necessarily need it in both, although both directions does mean that if you get at an angle at some point, it's not going to put you in any danger of running your feet into any furniture or anything. I'm going to start this with my back to you. You are my audience, but we will turn some of these movements around so that you can see them at more helpful angles. So to start with, we are going to be in a neutral body position. And then those la 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 la's, the beginning of the song before any music starts, is where we are going to get into our starting position just to utilize that space. So I'm going to be standing nice and neutral, and they're going to go la 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 la. So one leg is going to come out. You can pick which one. It's not really going to matter. So whichever one you feel is your best side. We're going to pop it out. I want to be up on my toe so that I have a little bit of twist ability in this leg. And I'm going to squeeze my glute and drive my hip out and over, like I'm trying to pop it over this angle. My hands are going to be above my head because I like the body silhouette that this gives me. But you are welcome if hands above your head doesn't make you feel confident and attractive. Go ahead and play with wherever you want those hands to be. It doesn't matter for the choreography. We just want to make sure you feel nice. And for everyone who's been missing Salem, he's popping in to say hi. We want this to make you feel confident and to be fun for you. So you decide where your hands are to get that. So I have popped my leg out, hands are above my head, and I'm going to drive this hip forwards for 6. This is rather fast counts for this song. We're only going to do the faster counts for more repetitive movements. I'm not going to have you do a whole lot of fast transitions because I know how hard it is to learn fast transitions when you don't have someone there with you. So hands are above the head and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The hip is popping out on the count. If you would like this to the words are look back, repeated. So we are just popping on every word, look and back. Starting from neutral, we have la 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 and look back, look back, look back. I'm going to go ahead and move on to our hands down and into our slide. With our walk down our leg, with our hands, you have 2 options for getting your hands to the floor. We have our straight legs and our bent legs. If I'm doing this with straight legs, I am going to rotate my torso to look at my bent leg. I'm going to walk my hands down, and as I walk, my knee's going to straighten. And I'm going to walk both hands to the floor so that I can look between my own legs. Now that you know this movement is coming, play with how wide you plant your leg for your pops. So if I plant my leg really close to me, I am setting myself up for a very long reach down to my legs. Think about setting up this A-frame. This is an A-frame. As I go through the choreography, I'm going to say it a couple of times. So just so you know, I'm talking about having the legs wide and bending over so that your legs look like they're the tent of a capital A. So plant that A-frame as wide as you need it. You can do great big hip pops from nice and wide, walk that leg down and have a big base of your A-frame if that's what you need. If doing this with straight legs is your worst nightmare, you don't have to. Instead of straightening this knee, we're going to keep it bent, and we're going to bend the other one to match as we walk those hands down to kind of disguise the fact that we're bending both legs and taking away those straight lines. So if I want to do that, I'm going to walk my hands down. When I hit my knee, my other knee is going to bend, and we're going to rotate around. So I have little bent legs in my A-frame. We're not spending very long in the A-frame, so it's okay to have that bend since it's going to be a transitional movement as opposed to a pause. So let's just run through that with our counts and then with our song. So starting at the back, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. For those of you who like the words, la 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 la, bet you I can make you look back, look back, look back. Can I have your attention? I think those are the words. This is the part where I tell you the words and they're wrong. We're going to go ahead and run through it with the music. Oh, if it will connect to the studio. If so, the song is fast. The beginning section is pretty speedy. If that was difficult for you, if doing it at speed wasn't what you'd hoped for, please go ahead and run back through that section again, pause the video, take your time getting comfortable with that. We're going to go ahead and move on to our slides. So, with my slide, we are in that A-frame position, and we are going to start with our base variation of our slide. So I'm going to walk my hands forwards in that A-frame, drop to my knees, and drive my feet or my knees back so that my torso comes to the ground. So from the side, what this looks like, it's a little bit easier to explain this when you can see me in profile. We are in that A-frame as wide as you need it to be, knees bent or straight, it's not going to matter. Now I'm going to bring those hands down. I'm going to bounce them forward, so I'm not going to walk them. I'm going to move them at the same time, drop to my knees, slide back. I like to get my feet up out of the way if I'm not using them. So it creates a different look. It doesn't look like I'm doing the advanced version wrong. It looks like I've done an entirely separate move. We want to hop the hands forwards because this is a little bit momentum based. It's easier to get that slide if we do it a little bit faster. So again, if I do this with my knees bent, I'm in my A-frame. I'm going to hop those hands forwards, come to my knees, toes up, drive back. Our next version of this is going to be with our toes on the ground. This is the one I recommend if you are not wearing socks. The tops of your feet are pretty sensitive, so while the tops of the feet, our final version of this slide, is very pretty, it can also be very painful if you're doing it a lot. So if you don't have socks, we're doing this with flexed feet, and then we'll get to pointed toes last. So, instead of hopping my feet forwards, I'm going to hop, instead of hopping my hands forwards, I want to hop my feet back. So we're in our A-frame, and I'm going to hop so that my feet are behind me, and I'm in kind of a bear crawl position, or a prep for a down dog, and then I'm going to slide my feet back. This is one of our more sort of primal movements. When we do things with flexed feet, it tends to make them look more aggressive. So it's not wrong when you see flexed feet in choreography, or if you find you like flexed feet better, you like the way it looks. It's just moving from those graceful lines we associate with ballerinas into more of our aggressive lines and our power lines that we see in circus and in lyrical or modern dance styles. I know it's constantly a discussion that I have with clients is flexed feet or pointed toes. Pointed toes give you nice long lines, but flexed feet also do have their place in dance. So, hands down, jumping it out, flexed feet, drive the feet away from you. Still coming down to lie. And our last variation of this, which I do recommend socks or some kind of cushioning for, is our flat foot jump. So when I jump the feet back, I'm not going to land on my toes. I'm going to point my feet real hard, and I'm going to land on the top of my foot to slide back. Feel free to use whichever variation works for you, that you like the look of, that feels the most comfortable and powerful. None of these are wrong. I'll be jumping between our bare flexed feet and our pointed toes. But with my pointed toes, I'm coming to that A-frame. And when I jump back, it's going to happen very quickly because I'm not going to be catching. So my feet are just going to slide. Pointed slide. We want to try and keep the legs as straight as possible for this, because I don't want to jump onto my knees. That's a lot of pressure for our knees to take, unless you have knee pads, in which case, wow, you came prepared. We're going to flat hands. We put them in our A-frame. Really? And then we're going to jump, point those toes, and drag them back. Pick the one that is most comfortable for you. Please don't hurt yourself on account of this choreography. Each one has its merits, and each one is going to look just as great when you do it. So now that we are lying down, we're going to go through a couple of those movements before we put everything together. For those of you who are familiar with our dancer push-ups, which should be everyone who's taken a class with me, we have done a variation of these push-ups. We are going to do our reverse dancer push-up. So, I am lying on the ground, right? This is where we ended, no matter which variation of our slide you did. And then depending on how slick my floor is, I am either going to think about widening my legs and bringing my knees in a circle so that they're up underneath my shoulders. So, since I have a wood floor and I'm nice and slippery, I want to bring the legs out and then bring them up towards my elbows, let my booty lift, and then they're underneath me. Or if you are on a carpet and dragging your knees up takes a lot of work, we are going to do our reverse dancer push-up. So I'm going to bring my arms to my ribs and then push my booty up, letting my knees stay where they are, push my arms into the floor so that I am now stacked knees and shoulders. This really just comes down to your floor and whether or not you can slide those legs or if moving through the torso is easier. If you're having a hard time getting that push movement, I want you to come to your dancer push-ups again. Remember how this works. We drive back, elbows to the rib cage, and up. And then just reverse that movement, booty high, push the arms to come up. It is the same sequence of muscles. It's going to be little tricep push-ups as you move through. Once we are up on our knees, you're going to pick a leg, whichever leg is your favorite, or most flexible, and we are going to stick it out to the side. So I have a little weight transfer, leg sticks out, and then I'm going to push it behind me so that I can bring my booty to the ground. So from behind, I'm on my knees. I'm going to stick a leg out, whichever leg you'd like. We're going to sweep it around, so booty to the ground, and then I'm going to bring it up in front of me. Now this movement, our sweep to our flexi leg, is a cheat. If you are very flexible, you are welcome to keep your torso nice and lifted and just lift your ankle to your forehead. For the rest of us, when I sweep it around, I'm going to keep my arm planted so that I can bend that elbow and get my chest out of the way. So when I grab behind my knee or up at my ankle, depending on your flexibility, I'm going to lean back. So I am making this leg look like it's coming up much higher than it is, because I'm just rocking back to maintain my level of flexibility and to allow for my level of flexibility to still look really nice. A great big look at my leg, look how long it is, look how high I can kind of get it. So, with our counts for this, we do have space. What you'll find with a lot of the choreography that I put together, when I'm teaching it to groups of people, I tend to leave little pockets so that if you are taking a little bit longer to get into the positions, you don't have to feel rushed. And if you find that as you go through this and as you get comfortable with it, there is so much time that you are not doing anything and you want to do something, feel free to add little bits of flair, little extra movements to really make it your own. I want to leave space for you to turn this into something that represents you, as opposed to having a whole lot of little robots who just do exactly what I'm doing. There's a place for that, but I don't think it's here. So running through the words with our slide, or running through our counts. We're going to start with the counts, and then we will run through it with words, and then we'll run through the whole thing thus far with the music. So I start up in my A-frame with one leg out to the side, and we're going to start from where we've walked our hands down. So we're going to do those hip pops. And then when I start walking, I'm going to be starting midway through my count. We're going to take it a little bit slower. We'll speed it up a little bit for the words, and then we'll do it at full speed with our music. I'm going to keep doing it sideways so you can see those jumps and some of the slides a little bit more clearly. And we are 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. When we run through it with the words are, can I get your attention? You can feel the tension. Clarify your intention, because I ain't got all night. So, the main words that we're going to focus on are attention, tension, intention, and night, because those are all at the end of a movement. So take your time or speed up those movements as you listen to the song to make sure that you are where you need to be for those words. It also means that if you are not keeping up to speed, if at some point you lose track of where we are in the song, you can just skip to the end of the next phrase in your head. So, attention is going to have both hands on the ground. Tension, we're going to be lying out flat. Intention, we're in our little ball. And then night is where I'm lifting my leg. So, we're going to do it from the audience perspective this time. We've got look back. So I make you look back. Can I get your attention? I know you can feel the tension. You should clarify your intention, because I ain't got all night. Let's go ahead and run through it from the top with the music. If this is the point where you don't feel ready for that, if I've been going a little bit fast for you, please go ahead, pause the video, rewatch the sections that you need until you feel confident and ready to move on. we have got our first chunk of choreography down, we are going to move into the last couple of pieces of our floor work. With this, we are going from our leg lift to a sweep around on the knees into a scorpion variation of a scorpion push-up and some booty pop work on the ground. So we're going to start with that leg lift, coming out of it and going through our knee sweep. Now this is a section of music that we're going to move a little bit slower than we have been up until now. So take a little bit more time with these movements. I've just done my sweep, turning my body so I'm not facing my audience. And we've lifted one of our legs, whichever leg you would like to. So my leg is up here. And we're just going to drop it down, bringing the other hand behind us. I want to keep my torso back because I need space for my legs to go somewhere. The leg that I just pointed out into the world, I'm going to bend it back. And then I'm going to think about driving through my hips, pushing my knees towards the ground, lifting in my chest. You are still in the way. To switch the side of my body that my legs are on. So we're lifting through that chest, popping the hips up, and pushing through. Let's just try that again. So I've got my great big lift, and heel down, leg back, sweep it around, bend it, and transfer the legs through. I still want to have my legs wide because this leg needs to make a full circle. So let's just play with that movement. I have my leg lifted, we'll start from there. Dropping it down, I'm going to move it out so that my thigh isn't on my foot anymore. Bend this leg, sweep through. We can straighten both legs, bend them again, sweep through. Just play with this movement, play with it both directions so that you get an idea of how it feels. It's just a brief transition in the choreography that we're doing, but it is a pretty movement and it's really fun to get it right. From there, so we're doing that leg lift and then we're sweeping around. And I'm going to continue sweeping, transitioning my weight from both legs to one leg. Lift, straight leg, sweep it out, bend it, transfer the weight, squeezing the glutes, and then I'm going to bring my outside arm up and over so I'm switching the direction that my body is facing. With this transition, as I come around, I'm also going to drive into this leg, letting it slide back a little bit or pushing it back, depending on your flooring, so that I can get onto this knee without being on the tip of the knee. I want to make sure I have some shin that I can push onto. My arm comes around nice and big, and I'm going to roll onto this leg, letting the other one lift up. So if we do this from a different angle, I'm lifting this leg, dropping it down, arm back, sweep it through, transition the arm over, and lift. So we're doing a little sort of dog in a fire hydrant, nice squeeze through the glute, nice tight abs to drive that leg up towards the sky. From just that position, so we'll put the pieces together in a second, but I want to focus on one movement at a time first. I'm going to go into my scorpion variation. So I've got this leg lifted. I'm going to bend my elbows and bring my chest to the ground. Try to keep this leg as lifted as possible the whole time. Now, visually, the next part is going to be a little bit weird because which leg we use is going to depend on where our audience is. So I'm just gonna go into one of our booty pounds. We're adding an arm to it because I find that makes it a little bit easier and a little bit more powerful. So I come from here, nice big leg lift, bend the elbows. We want to have a lot of control here. I'm not just slamming my head towards the ground. If you need to walk your hands further out so that you can come down onto your forearms, that's absolutely fine. We're going to bring the chest down and then pull this leg out to the side if it's facing your audience. If you have used the other leg, so you've come down, we're going to straighten it and pull up the other leg. I want you to be able to use whichever leg feels comfortable for you, and not halfway through the choreography be like, I'm on the wrong leg, what do I do? That's okay. Just make sure whichever one is facing the audience is your bent leg. Running through all of those parts and pieces together. I'm starting from my leg lift, and heel down, arm back, sweep that leg out, bend it, squeeze up, transition over, arm over, leg up, and bring it down. Bring it down bent, or bring it down straight, and then bend the other leg. Whatever you're comfortable with. We're going to move on to our booty pop section. Then we're going to put all of that together, then we'll put everything together, and then finish off with our stand. With my booty pops on the ground. This is where we're going to have nice tight abs, but when it comes to actually moving the booty, we're going to be relying on our hip flexors and our lumbar spine. So, we are lying down, to get more in frame, further away from you, feels counterintuitive. I'm lying down, and I'm going to bend whichever leg, as I said like 5 times, is towards the audience. And I'm going to make a fist with that other hand. I am then going to push into the floor a little bit with this knee to stabilize me, push with my back quad into the ground, and then pop my booty up. Now whenever we pop up, we're going to lift our fist. So I'm hitting the ground with my fist and with my booty. It is okay if this is a little movement, but I want you to try to play with making it as large as possible. So really popping that booty up off the ground, pushing through the quads, arching the back, letting your booty take center stage. We are going to do 3 of those, she said, forgetting her own choreography. We're sure doing 3 of those. And then we're going to straighten that leg, make like a little inchworm, and pop the booty from side to side. So, we are here. We have done 1, 2, 3. Straighten that leg. I'm going to flatten my palm to the ground, so just rotate it from where it is. It's still bent so that I have some push through this arm. And I'm just going to push with the arms, pull the knees in, and pop the booty up. And from here, I'm going to drop one hip to the ground, let the booty entirely rest so that it's all the way sideways, and then nice big oblique crunch, lift, and other side. Very good. Just play with this movement. We're only doing it once on each side of the choreography, but I want you to play with not just rolling side to side, but really thinking about creating a little space. Your space can be huge, or your space can be little, but I want you to have space to work with. This is very reminiscent of a Michael Jackson movement. So if the rocking side to side is a little bit challenging for you, feel free to just do the floor thrust from The Way You Make Me Feel, I think is the music video, where we just do this. Bum, bum. So getting used to that drive up and that arch down before we start popping side to side, if side to side is challenging for you. Running through all of those pieces, I'm going to do them a couple of times. I'm going to talk you through them so you know what's coming next. Then we're going to do it with counts. Then we'll do it with the words. And then we'll do it with the song. Starting from our I ain't got all night. So ending with that leg up in the air. Haven't got all night. And then drop that heel down, sweep it out, bend it, push through, arm over, lift, dive down, bend whichever leg is close to your audience, and 1, 2, 3, straighten that leg, booty pop, and drop, drop, middle. Starting from our leg lift, and we are going to do 4 of our pounds with our fist. I went back and double checked, and there are 4 of them, not 3. So we are lifting that leg, driving it down, take your time here, swoosh through, arm over, lift that leg and drive it down, up to the side, and 1, 2, 3, 4, straighten the leg, push the booty up, and 1, 2, back down in the center. Going through this with our counts. It's going to be a little bit different since we are slowing it down. So there are going to be a couple of dead counts where some movements are going to take a little bit longer as opposed to just our freeze of 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we are running through it with the words, it goes, I haven't got all night. You're acting real cool now because you've got all your boys round, but you know it'll go down when you admit I'm right. I've got a test for your willpower, baby, so watch your step as you walk away. I will point out specific words and movement combinations. One of the big ones is the word down. It is going to be while we're doing our scorpion movement. But haven't got all night. You're acting real cool now. So now the heel hits the floor because you've got all your boys round. This is where we have our little transition through on boys round. You know it'll go and then down is where we're straightening that leg. Go down when you admit I'm right. So you've got loads of time to get this leg up. When you admit I'm right, I've got a test for your willpower. And we're straightening the leg on baby. So watch your step as you walk away. And then we're straightening down. So, running through that with our music. We're nearly done. We only have 2 more movements, and then we will be standing, and that's where this video is going to end, and then we will get into transitions between our floor work and our chair, and then move into the mid and last section of the song, being on our chair. So this is where we're getting back into that chorus, which started the song, with the bet you I can make you look back, look back, look back. So this is faster, but we are going to use the look backs as our anchors. So they are sharp words, they're short and they're kind of punchy, and that's how we want this choreography to be. So we have just ended after doing our little caterpillar booty bumps side to side, yeah? So from here, I've done my booty and the middle, and then we are going to come back to our knees. It's going to be the same thing that you did before. So either widening the legs and pulling them up if you have some slide to your surface, or pushing into that dancer push-up to come up to the knees. We're going to do this pretty quickly. So I'm sweeping through and up, and then I'm going to keep going back. So one arm is going to come behind me, and we're going to drive the booty up, nice tight glutes, nice squeezed abs, and reach over our head. Okay, so this is nice and dramatic from the side, but even more so when you're seeing it from behind. So we are here. I'm going to get up, however works for me. One arm back, pop it up and reach. Nice and dramatic. From this reached movement, I'm going to use a hair flick to come back. With our hair flicks, we are always leading these more from a shoulder than from the actual neck. Unless you are an avid headbanger and do a lot of throwing about of your head with your neck. Most of us, it's a great way to pop our neck out of place or to pull something if we just sort of typhoon around leading with our chin. So when we do this pop up, I'm going to drop through this shoulder to sweep my head through, letting my shoulders support that movement to get some crazy hair whipping in. From there, then we've reached, and then we've done our hair flick. Pick a leg, any leg, and we're going to use our rock and roll stand from pole to get up. So I'm going to put all my weight on one leg, bring the other one through, so I'm on my toe, nice straight line through the heel and, through the ankle and the knee. And then I'm going to push onto that leg. So all my weight has now transferred as much as it can out of this leg and into this one. And then I'm going to pull this leg through so that we have kind of a crouch position happening. And then I'm going to lead with my booty. We're going to bend and snap to get up. So I'm going to straighten the knees, tilt the head forwards, and then flick up. That's where this choreography is going to end. So putting those pieces together as I talk you through them, and then we'll do it with the cats. We are starting in our caterpillar position. We are lying on the ground. Get up however you feel comfortable. After we've done our booty bump, pulling through to the knees, coming straight back, and lift, and hair flip, leg, push onto it, other leg, bring it up, booty, and hair. Now running through this with the words, we're actually not going to focus on our look back as our anchors. Instead, there's a beat between them. There's kind of a snare drum hit that happens. And that snare drum hit is what we're going to focus on for our anchor point for our movements. So I'm going to go through the words pretty slowly and the movements pretty slowly, pointing out that snare drum so that you kind of get the feel of that into your body, you know what to listen for. And then we're going to go through the whole thing. So we are at this caterpillar position. Watch your step as you walk away. Bet you I can make you look, hit, look, hit, look, hit. Bet you I can make you look, hit, look, hit, look, hit. Going through that look back ending section with our counts, we have gone, make sure I'll stay in frame the whole time. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that we've learned all the pieces, let's go ahead and run through the whole song once, just talking through it, and then we will run through it with the music. We're going to start at the back of our space, arms above our head for those booty pops, into our jump and slide. Arms above the head, and pop, 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 pop. Walk the hands down. A-frame, slide it out. Bring the legs in. Slide through and lift. Tap it down, arm goes back. Legs around. Arm over. Go on. Up and through our scorpion. Lift the opposite leg. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Slide it back. Caterpillar that booty. And drop. Drop. Down. Slide through, arm back, up and over. Flip the hair around. Rock and roll stand. Booty and hair. Okay, we're going to do it one more time with the music. If you don't feel ready for that, go ahead and go back to whichever section you need, or just run through it a couple of times with me talking through it, or all by yourself to make sure that you remember it.
So watch your step as you walk away. Bet you I can make it look back, look back, look back. Bet you I can make it look back, look back, look back. Tell yourself that we're just friends.
And that was the beginning of our floor and chair choreography to Look Back by Betty Who. Please feel free to write down or message me any movements that you need broken down more clearly or that you weren't really sure of. I'm going to try and have a couple of lives this week as I release more sections of the song. We'll probably be three of these videos, so we'll do about a minute of the song long increments. And I'll do a couple of lives going over the most commonly asked questions, breaking down some of the movements, maybe running through the whole song a couple of times for you guys. And it should be something fun to do while we're in quarantine. Thing to remember with this is stay safe, make sure that you have space, make sure that your floor is taken into account with what you're wearing and which movements you're going to try. And I hope you had fun. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon.